Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 2 of AOR F1 2018 Season 16 on the Formula 1 game. So today we're here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and this one I wasn't feeling so confident for. If you guys did miss out on Australia though, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was a strange race on the whole. I think we can all safely say for those of you guys that have watched that video. But yeah, today we're here at Bahrain, round 2 of the season, on a track that, well, I just don't really get along well with. You know, I knew I was in for a tough race. I'm one of the slowest drivers in this split as well, obviously, and around a track that I don't know what it is. I just really lack pace, confidence around here and everything like that, which obviously is not a particularly good combo. I had done a fair bit of practice. The pace, sort of one lap felt okay, but then in terms of race pace, it really just wasn't there. And then on my fastest qualifying run, I get screwed by that curve going through the S section there, which was really, really frustrating. We are going to fast forward on the rest of this lap. It was an okay lap on the whole. There was easily a few more tenths we could have found in it. We will have to slow down as we get down towards the finish line, obviously, because there's a weird invalidation glitch, which meant that the lap still could have potentially counted, which obviously we don't really want because, well, that's cheating. So as we come down towards the final corner, you can see we were already 7 tenths up. Realistically, you know, there was a good few more tenths on that lap as well. So we could have probably been on around sort of a 1 minute 26.7, I reckon. I reckon there was probably a second on that lap there in the end of the day, which means if we'd been able to do a 1 minute 26.7, we would have been around about 10th, 11th place. And honestly, being 11th is probably a bit of a blessing in disguise in terms of these races. If I'd been 10th on a set of super softs, I really wouldn't have been in a particularly good shape, because obviously this race is a really, really difficult one stop to make on the supers, then onto the mediums there. But yeah, it's going to be P17 last of the runners there. That was really, really frustrating, you know, especially with how much time we had to obviously make that mistake on the final run. That curb is just so unpredictable. It basically screwed me in my evaluation race as well, for those of you guys that did check that one out. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Yeah, I think this one will basically just be damage limitation and just trying to survive and see where we end up at the end of the day, because, well, I would like to, you know, finish every race this season. You know, don't want any DNFs or anything like that, but usually accidents do happen at some point over the course of the season. But here we are then on the grid, ready for the Japanese Grand Prix, the Bahrain Grand Prix. They're obviously too much of watching Japan yesterday as well. But it is 5 lights here on the grid in Bahrain, and it's a lights out, and away we going off to a, once again, an absolutely appalling start. I don't know what it is. I really, really need to learn my starts there. Surprise and Pinecone are both going to be straight past me as we go in towards turn 1 here. Just braking nice and early, you know, don't really want to go to any sort of particular gambles there. You see, there's all a bit of concertina up there between the two Mercedes cars. So I don't think anyone, fortunately, picked up any front wing damage from that, but we would actually drop that back down to P18 of this race there behind Cry Lockdown, who unfortunately disconnected just off the start there, so we will get back past him. There's contact on the inside. That's VRT All-Rounder, and I'm not too sure what on the McLarens are. I think it would be Team Vodka Shot, if I'm not mistaken. So that moves us now up into P15 of this race here. Pinecone is going to send it down the inside of Zelchi there. That's going to be quite a bit of contact made between the pair of them, but I don't think any damage for either of them there off the start of this race. So we have made up 2 places off the launching, considering obviously we had Surprise and Pinecone behind me as well, and you know, those guys are much, much quicker than myself. I wasn't too surprised with that. We do get a good run down onto this back straight on Zelchi. We do think about going down the inside, but it's not really a corner I really want to be going for overtakes on, especially when he's run that defensive on me coming down in towards the corner as well there. So as we come through the next couple of corners, we're still all over the back of the Renault driver here, and I think we've got All-Rounder who tries to have a little bit of a sniff up the inside, though well, he's just not going to be able to make that work on the exit of the corner here, so we will still stay ahead of him as we come now down in towards the final corner of the opening lap of this race. It has been an okay first, you know, tidy, conservative lap that I'd probably is the best way to describe it. You know, I'd much rather, you know, lose a couple of places and end up with no front wing damage than spend the rest of the race struggling there. Zelchi is going to go defensive in towards turn 1 here. We're just going to try and go on the normal racing line. Round the outside in towards turn 1 there, but he does get better traction. I get caught out on the curbs. I have to bail out through turn 3, and through turn 2, and he will be able to hold on there. Onto lap 4 though, and now we were all over the back of Jason 97 F1 here, but he was closing up to the back of Zelchi as well. The other 3 guys further back, obviously Cry was, well, disconnected as I said. The other 3 had unfortunately had to make pit stops due to front wing damage there, so they were pretty much looking like they were going to be out of this race on the whole, but coming out of the final corner, we're still closing up to the back of Jason here. But he's got a tremendous run on the back of Zelchi as we come down in towards turn 1 here. I'm going to try and have a sniff up the inside, but are we going to be able to make it work there? We just about try and get the nose on the inside, but Zelchi does just about give me enough room there. And unfortunately, on the exit of the corner, I clip the inside curb and, well, just completely drop the car there. Unfortunately, I can't afford to just completely spin it around there because, well, it's so easy to overheat the rear tyres around here, yeah. But unfortunately, yeah, that was not exactly what I wanted in this Grand Prix. And unfortunately, after that, you know, we would make our first pit stop of the day all the way on lap 12. We actually had fairly, you know, we were able to keep the tyres in quite a good little operating window on the whole. But unfortunately, yeah, we were set for a very, very lonely race after that. We didn't really see anyone in the first stint. Obviously, it was just where the guys, pretty much everyone else, had pit just before me that left us all the way out on to, well, all the way to lap 12. Pretty much alone about between sort of 10 to, we were slowly but surely closing down the gap to Zelchi, but it was hovering between sort of about 10 and 8 seconds on the whole by the end of that first stint. And unfortunately, we had lost a little bit of time out in the pit stops as well here. But yeah, unfortunately, after that, it was a very, very, very quiet race for myself here in the Bahrain Grand Prix. Unfortunately, as you can see, we were making up a couple of places due to a couple of guys, obviously, you know, having to make their second pit stop because they got involved in action at the start. I think ZLC had really just overheated his super soft tyres in the first stint. He was going to try and go for a two-stop. It looked like he came out the pits. According to the game, he got disqualified. So that might have been what happened, which would have obviously been quite funny on the whole. Obviously, not for him, but, you know, just for, well, me personally. But yeah, yeah, I don't know what happened to him, unfortunately. I just really, really struggled with that. And yeah, unfortunately, I think he was on the wrong strategy. I don't think he expected to get into the top 10 there and just struggled to keep the tyres down and obviously got disqualified because of that. Or he left the session, it was just a glitch with F1 2018 as well. I'm not too sure what to make of that one. We can see by lap 18 there, we were all the way back up to P14. We had all-rounder slowly making down that gap ever so slightly. But, you know, it wasn't going to be enough to really sort of hassle me towards the end of the race. We were just basically saving the car. You know, we weren't going to take any sort of risks over these last few laps. I did think about trying to go for fast lap of the Grand Prix right towards the very end of this race, but unfortunately, we did set our new PB of the race, but unfortunately the tyres were completely shot towards the end of this race as well. It was just a little bit unfortunate on the whole, not exactly what I would have wanted. You know, I was aiming to try and get a sub 1 minute 30, and I missed out by, I think, 0.003 of a second by the end of the race. But yeah, one of those frustrating days where, well, I knew I just didn't really have the pace to move up the order. And, well, after I made that mistake, there was just no chance we were going to be able to do anything in this race. They're one of those just frustrating afternoons where you don't really know what's wrong, but everything just appears to be on the whole. But honestly, I'll take the fact that I was able to make it through to the end of this race. A fairly quiet race in terms, well, relative to last time. No real action, unfortunately, on the whole there as we come down in towards the final couple of laps of this Grand Prix as well here. And yeah, it had been very, very lonely on the whole. One of those horrible races, as I said, where, yeah, especially around a track that I don't particularly enjoy as well, where you just find yourself doing lap after lap after lap alone. It was almost like one of those really sort of weird career mode races that I get every once in a while as well here. Yeah, on to the final lap, though, of this race. You can see we're still all the way down in P14. LCR Leopard, I think, I made a mistake and dropped all the way down just in front of me there. But CRG Evo will make it win 2 from 2 in the Drivers' World Championship. The surprise would come through all the way from the back for P2 there, which is obviously a fantastic job by him, so I'm sure. Well, according to Twitter, he wasn't particularly happy with that after the race, yeah, but I'm not too sure. I personally certainly take P2 overall. But down in towards the final couple of corners then, yeah, as I said, it had been a very, very tough race for myself there, and unfortunately, well, just nothing really to write home about in the end of the day. You know, unfortunately, we did lose out on the P10 last time out as well, so we still don't have any points on the board. But yeah, happy I survived is probably the best way I can describe it. The Vodka was actually able to close up a fair bit in the final stint of the race there as well, so good job by him. But obviously I was just basically bringing the car home towards the end of that race. So there we are then, guys, at the end of that Grand Prix. You know, it would only be P14, but we did still make up places. Once again, they were always moving up in these races. But Evo ahead of Surprise Hamilton had a good job out in P3, with MVP0 doing a fantastic job. P4, Car Powerful, OMG, it's Joe, Jason, Pinecone, Brown, Feisty Ted, and Langman, Zelchi, Leopard, myself, and Vodka all missed out, with Cry obviously disconnected All-Rounder, Reynolds, and ZLLC. All, unfortunately, not making it through to the end of that race. But as I said, hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this video. Make sure you do like and subscribe as well if you're new around here. If you want to go check out GT Sport and more League Racing content, you can click on the orange link currently on your screens, and you will be able to go see my League Racing channel where I sort of upload more League Racing, and also my Road to Rank S on GT Sport, as well as obviously if you guys want to go check out some Forza Horizon 4 content, you can click the orange link as well. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for the Chinese Grand Prix.